All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to cut right through all the noise. We are taking a look at the journey from this giant, hyped up concept, the metaverse, to a much more practical and honestly, a way more interesting reality that's actually unfolding right now. Spatial computing. So, if your head is spinning trying to keep all these terms straight, metaverse, VR, AR, spatial computing, I get it. You are definitely not alone. It's a total buzzword soup out there. But stick with me, because by the end of this, we're going to have it all sorted out.
So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with what was going on with all that initial hype. Then we'll nail down the basics, AR versus VR. We'll see where that grand metaverse vision kind of hit a brick wall. And then we'll introduce the term that's really defining the future, spatial computing, before we dive into some real-world examples and ask that big question, what's next?
Okay, let's dive right in. You know, just a couple of years ago, the metaverse was everywhere. It was hailed as the next internet, the next big frontier of our digital lives. And tech giants, they poured billions into it. But now, the question on everyone's mind is it already dead? Well, before we can even begin to answer that, we have to get back to basics. We have to understand the fundamental building blocks of all this. And it really all comes down to two core technologies: augmented reality and virtual reality. You've got to get these two straight to understand everything else. So first up is augmented reality, or AR. The easiest way to think about this is adding a digital layer right on top of the real world. It enhances your reality, it doesn't replace it. A perfect example? An app like IKEA Place. You use your phone's camera and bam! You can see exactly how a virtual couch would look in your actual living room. And then you've got the total opposite, virtual reality, or VR. This is all about replacing your reality completely. You slip on a headset and you are gone. You're transported to an entirely different computer-generated world. It's like stepping directly inside a video game, totally cut off from your physical room. Okay, so let's boil it down real simple. AR adds to your world. You see it through your phone or maybe some smart glasses, and you're still in control. VR replaces your world. You're fully immersed with a headset, and the system controls the environment you're in. One enhances, one replaces. That's the key. All right, so you have those two ideas, right? AR and VR. Well, a huge, all-encompassing vision was built on top of them, the metaverse. But that grand vision ran smack into some very harsh realities. The big dream of the metaverse was this idea of a single, unified, always-on virtual universe. You know, one place where you could work, play, shop, and hang out as an avatar, and just move seamlessly between different digital experiences, kind of like we browse the web today. But wow. Building that dream is monumentally difficult and ridiculously expensive. I mean, just to put a number on it, Meta's Reality Labs division has reported losses of over $60 billion since 2020 just chasing this vision. That is a staggering number, and it really shows you the kind of financial and technical mountains they're trying to climb. And all that spending didn't exactly lead to a flood of users. Flagship platforms like Horizon Worlds really struggled to get people to show up and stick around. So the industry had a reality check. The big narrative has shifted. It's less about one giant utopian universe and way more about a collection of practical, useful, niche applications that actually work today. And this shift, this reality check, it brings us to a much better, much more accurate term for what's actually being built. So let's just forget the metaverse label for a second. Let's talk about the framework that's actually driving things forward: spatial computing. Spatial computing is a way bigger and more powerful idea. It's not about escaping to some other world. It's about making our computers smart enough to understand and work within our 3D world. It's about tech that sees your environment, that lets you interact with digital stuff naturally, just using your hands, your eyes, and your voice. This table here lays it out perfectly. The metaverse vision was all about a destination, a single platform meant to replace reality, focused on socializing. Spatial computing, it's a category of tools designed to enhance reality with very specific, targeted jobs,
like boosting productivity, helping with design, or revolutionizing training. It's less virtual social club and more powerful new computer.
And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi future. This is happening right now. Let's look at the actual proof, because spatial computing is already making a huge impact in some major industries, and it goes way beyond just gaming. I mean, just look at this breakdown. We are seeing massive adoption in super critical fields. Healthcare is the biggest piece of the pie, followed closely by manufacturing, design, and engineering. These are serious industries using these tools to solve real expensive problems and make their work better and faster. And the actual uses? Wow. They're incredible. You have surgeons performing operations with digital overlays guiding their hands. You have technicians getting AR repair guides projected right onto complex machinery. Architects are letting their clients walk through buildings before a single brick has even been laid. And then in training, soldiers, fighter fighters, doctors, they're all training for high-stakes situations in these super realistic but perfectly safe virtual simulations. This is where the real value is today. Okay, so where is all this headed? What's the endgame here? For a lot of the big players in this space, the ultimate ambition is nothing less than the next great computing revolution, creating a device that could actually replace the smartphone. And this right here, this is the multi-trillion-dollar question. This is what companies like Apple, Meta, and Google are racing and spending billions to answer. Can they really pack all the power of a smartphone and even more into a pair of lightweight glasses that you'd actually want to wear all day? But getting there is not going to be easy. There are some huge hurdles to clear. First, you need the display tech in the lenses to be bright, clear, and not look totally goofy. Then you have to figure out how to fit a supercomputer's worth of processing power right onto the frame. Then there's battery. You need it to last all day without being a heavy brick on your face. You absolutely need a killer app store from day one. And maybe the biggest hurdle of all, you need people to actually be okay with it, avoiding that whole glass hole privacy nightmare that killed the first Google Glass. So how do you solve all of that? Well, a lot of people think the secret sauce, the key ingredient that makes it all work, is artificial intelligence. As Vidger CEO David Young says here, AI is going to be the brain. It's what will turn these things from just being tools into true companions that are smart, that adapt to you, and that just get what you need. So look, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. We need to stop thinking about some single, far-off place called the metaverse. The real future is so much more integrated, and frankly, more interesting than that. It's a future that's made of millions of tiny, useful spatial computing moments that are just woven seamlessly into the world we already live in. And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. This technology isn't just about cool new gadgets. It is fundamentally changing how we interact with information, with our work, and with each other. And as our digital and physical worlds keep blending together, the real question becomes a personal one. How will you choose to interact in this new blended reality?